Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out Americans Are Rubbish at Being British.
You tossers! You had one job to do!
There's nothing worse than a person trying too hard to imitate an accent. But even though laughing at foreigners like me is considered offensive and racist, remember, when you comment,
That's what I did.
I think actors are fair game. It's literally
Yeah.
their job to pretend and get
That's
paid
right.
millions for it.
If
When
only.
I tried to get to the bottom of this accent conundrum, I first found training, or rather a lack of it.
This is Mike Migas. Be sure to go to Mike Migas and like and subscribe. Why Americans are so bloody awful at British accents. If British actors' American accents are bang on, why are Americans' British accents such rubbish? Damn. Rebecca Schumann.
Conundrum, I first found training, or rather a lack of it. So in the UK,
Okay.
actors often attend classical drama schools like RADA or LAMDA, where they learn how to control and adapt their voice for different roles and regional accents. You know, dialects, phonetics, and voice work are the core of the training. And in contrast, American actors often rise through modeling, commercials, nepotism, or local acting jobs without
He's right. He's right. I'm surprised he was so right he got nepotism in there, because that's a big part of it. That's a very big part of it, and it's actually kind of annoying. There are a lot of American actors who do go to school to be an actor, but when it comes to booking an acting role, the casting director does not care if you have a degree in acting or theater. They don't care. They're not looking at that. They're looking at if you did what they want you to do in the role. He's right, though. Moving on.
modeling, commercials, nepotism, or local acting jobs without proper classical training. And there is a famous story where Dick Van Dyke had just 1 hour with an Irish dialect coach to learn Cockney for Mary Poppins.
Really?
I mean, it was the worst Cockney accent ever done. But the guy who taught me was an Irishman.
And, you know,
All right, ladies and gents, comical poem, suitable for the occasion, extemporized and thought up before your very eyes.
as Angelina
Why is she doing his S's like that? Like all the S's are SH's. Why is she doing that?
Suitable for the occasion, extemporized and thought up before your very eyes.
As Angelina Jolie said herself, she had to put in the work on her own to dial in the British accent for Maleficent.
I also listened to a lot of tapes of theater actresses, British theater actresses, and tried to just learn from them and their...
And, you know, it paid off. She got good reviews for her
Okay.
portrayal.
I must say, I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation.
Oh, that's pretty good. To my ear, that's very good. He mentioned that phonetics and vocal training are a big part of the British acting training. I also think there's something about Shakespeare being from Britain. The words are a bigger part of the acting method that most British actors are trained under. There's a story about Stanley Kubrick when he was directing Spartacus. There were a lot of British actors on that set, and they were doing a scene where there were a lot of people on set, a lot of actors, background actors, like a big group scene, and they would do a take and then cut and then rearrange things, get things situated again. And after a few takes, Stanley Kubrick noticed that there were these two actors over on the side in the back who, after he would call cut, they would start talking to each other, like under their breath, like but after a while he wanted to know what they were talking about. He thought they were talking about him. He thought they were critiquing his directing, but somehow he found out. I'm going to assume he sent someone over there to eavesdrop on him, just for the sake of this story. But he sent someone over there to eavesdrop on them for the sake of the story. And he said, what are they talking about? And it turns out they were running lines. They were just running lines. Just running lines. So I feel like knowing the lines and developing the character from the dialogue is a British technique, whereas American actors, they almost do the dialogue last. I don't want to say totally last, but the dialogue is sort of the boat that's floating on top of the river. the actors will put more work into the background of the character and their own, their own feeling and how they relate to this personally, and oftentimes will come up with stuff to try to make themselves feel more or to be more affected by their scene partner. And it's just a different approach. I think British actors do have better training in general. I don't know why, but probably has to do a lot with the theater is a bigger part of the culture there. Stemming from Shakespeare, and in America, I don't think acting is more based in film, where you only have to do it right once. But with theater, you got to do it right over and over and over. You know, every show is one take.
I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation.
Motivation.
Another reason people often give is career survival. So Hollywood still dominates global film and TV production. British actors often have to adapt, train and practice their accents to succeed in the industry.
Being able to do so many scenes with a different accent, do you just get to a point where you're naturally able to perform that?
Okay, oh wait.
Never.
But America
Okay, so he's saying that the British actors have to adapt more because of Hollywood, it's in America, and so many films are about Americans with American accents. The British actors have to be really good at doing an American accent so that they can just get the work.
American actors, well, they can focus on domestic work. And while some absolutely can nail the British accent,
It's only one case that intrigues me at present. The curious case of Mrs. Hudson, the absentee landlady.
many lack the motivation to hone it truly.
It is not ideal, but if it's what me... It is not ideal, but if it... It is not ideal, but if it is what me...
Now that said, not all of them skip the training, and actors like Meryl Streep are consistently praised for their accent work.
Storms coming. Don't take us that for looming in the rocks.
She's all about the accents and the wigs. That's what I hear. Exposure.
Exposure plays a big role too. So British actors hear American accents all the time. You know, movies, music, YouTube, TV, and even as kids, we all watched American stuff. The US is still the leading exporter of pop culture.
A few seconds away from switching to the redundant sense sequencer.
Now Americans, on the other hand, they don't have the same exposure to authentic British speech. And the stuff that's popular in the States tends to be either like posh Downton Abbey style.
If Bertie's a Marquis, then Edith...
Edith would outrank us all, yes, that's right.
Or Cockney, the working class London dialect.
That's true.
So where was you posted, Iraq or something?
So even if they watch British productions, there isn't that much range to absorb, and you can't mimic what you don't know or hear.
Oh my God, he's right. As much as I think that we are exposed to British accents, probably not nearly as much as British are to American accents. Isn't that interesting? I think we're also exposed to a lot of bad British accents, you know? Like in cartoons, as a kid, there are British accents, but a lot of them aren't very good.
I confess I have an appetite. One day I'll be a great big round woman.
Another
Fame.
point to consider, the fame of American actors. Once a name has enough star power, there's less pressure to sound authentic, right? Because the audience will show up anyway. So sometimes actors phone it in.
I'm reminded of Kevin Costner's British accent in Robin Hood, or the lack of it. He had an American accent. It's Robin Hood. Kevin.
But we shouldn't
Overacting.
mistake that for laziness, okay? It's more about a shallow interpretation of the role.
Thank you, sir.
What's her name?
Liz.
Good job, Liz.
Good job, Liz.
Good job, Liz. This is Bobby.
Rather than mastering the nuances of British accents, actors tend to overcompensate, going too far. Not in just sounding British, but in acting British.
If I may inquire, what in fact happened to Mr. Renfield in Transylvania?
So, speaking overly posh, enunciating every syllable, sounding stiff instead of, el natural. But that said, a great counterexample is Renée Zellweger as Bridget Jones, and she received loads of compliments for her natural-sounding accent.
Okay.
So it can be done.
I'm afraid I'm a bit hungover. Wish I could be lying with my head in the toilet like all normal people.
Wow, she is good at that. Let's just rewind and listen to that Keanu Reeves accent, because I feel like he dropped it whenever he said Renfield.
What in fact happened to Mr. Renfield in Transylvania?
So,
if I may inquire, what in fact happened to Mr. Renfield? Renfield. I don't think I could do it either.
As Hugh Laurie, Dr. House said, maintaining an accent takes a lot of focus and muscle memory.
Do you just get to a point where you're naturally able to perform that? Like,
never.
Actors, they aren't just remembering lines, they're also acting. They're crying, they're shouting, they're acting drunk on screen. And that's when accent slips happen.
You cut my hair.
You cut my
You
hair.
tortured me.
You tortured
You
me.
tortured me.
You tortured
So it's
me.
sort of like going
I thought that was
in
pretty
and
good.
out.
I thought that was good. Did she drop it? I want to hear that again.
You cut my hair. You tortured me. You tortured me.
You tortured me. You
cut my hair.
You cut my hair. You cut my hair. On my, maybe she drops it.
You cut my hair.
My hair. You cut my hair. Part of it too is the more you think about it, the more lost I get, It's easy to overthink this. It's like once you lose the feel of it, you're screwed.
You tortured me. You tortured me.
So it's sort of like going in and out of it during a scene, like Shia LaBeouf, who got some negative feedback for his British accent in Nymphomaniac.
Come, I'll show you around. Yes?
I thought that was good.
To do a good job.
Come on, I'll show you around. Come on, I'll show you. Come on, I'll show you around.
Come, I'll show you around. Yes?
Yes? He
To
sounded
do a
British
good
to me.
job, American actors need phonetic training. So British vowels tend to be tighter. British R's are much softer compared to American R's. English American.
Ear.
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 Yeah.
Air.
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 And even Anne Hathaway said how difficult it was to get her role right.
I thought doing standard RP, which is what I did in Becoming Jane, I thought that was hard, and this was on a whole nother level.
And to be fair, she did a good job. Being British without the exaggerated pronunciation.
My parents' number?
My parents' number?
And their address, just in case.
Right. Now in Natalie
Yeah.
Portman's
Yeah, that's good, right? I think that was good. Let me hear it
being
again.
British without the exaggerated pronunciation.
My parents' number? And their address, just in case.
Right. Now in Natalie Portman's case, though, the accent was exaggerated because she was playing Queen Anne Boleyn in The Other Boleyn Girl.
He will bear a mortal grudge over the mildest of slights. Spoilt cub with a spike in his paw.
Oh. If I was just watching that Natalie Portman performance, it would have floated over me as perfect British, but now that I'm scrutinizing it, I do hear there's something about it that's not quite right.
He will bear a mortal grudge over the mildest of slights.
He will bear a moral grudge over the slightest
Spoilt cub with a spike in his paw.
with a spike in its claw. I can't do it. Complexity.
And let's not forget, Britain doesn't have one accent. Like, it has loads. RP, Cockney, Scouse, Geordie, Yorkshire, Welsh, Scottish, West Country. So it's not as simple as learning British, right?
If you want some, I'll give it up.
And many American actors don't know the differences. They often default to either a posh one or a sort of a Cockney mashup.
Oh, that's the home of Bret the Hitman Hart.
That one I didn't get.
I didn't
get.
I didn't get that.
And even like good portrayals, like Mel Gibson in Braveheart,
Well, a test of a soldier is not in his arm.
you can't tell it's not quite right. It wasn't terrible.
Not great, not terrible.
But I'm not sure
Terrible.
any actual Scots would
Terrible.
call it convincing. Now comment if you disagree. I still love the movie, alright?
And if you were here,
He'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes.
So is it really true that Americans can't do British accents?
How are we?
Well, not exactly. I used the title and the thumbnail for clickbait. And hey, it worked, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah, boy.
But the linguistic complexity, lack of coaching, and sometimes lack of pressure do result in some less than great imitations. But who am I to judge?
Kurwa, you must get kurwa some code because I not give you kurwa this PC kurwa.
After nearly 2 decades living in England, the only result I can show is that I'm shit at both my native Polish and British speaking. Thanks for watching.
You've been in this room for 2 weeks. I insist you have to get out.
There's nothing of interest for me out there on Earth at all.
Phew. Yo, that's gotta be so hard. Air, ear, 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 air, air. It's so hard. Oh, y'all. Christian Bale's American accent is really good. Hugh Laurie's American accent on House is oh my god, it's so good. Let me read an excerpt from something and try to have some sort of British accent. I don't think I'm very good at. I'm doing it now. Maybe I don't need to read. No. To me, I still sound like... See, I'm slipping into the... I can't do it. Damn it. Where is he? Des? Excellent timing, as always. 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 No. Excellent timing, as always. Excellent timing, as always. I think if I ever booked a part to be a British person, I would just barely move my mouth to barely talk so that no one could quite understand what kind of accent I had. No matter, the dark one has the others. You weren't quick enough to save any of them. To save it. See, I can't do it. If I ever book a British role, I'm going to need a British person to read all the lines and record it. And then I'll listen back to it and just memorize it like that. I don't know. Be sure to go to Mike Migas and like and subscribe. This was interesting. Very interesting. He makes some very, very valid points. Well, y'all, I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me. And I'll see y'all next time. Later.